But the difference for news writing is timeliness, accuracy, balance, news judgment, significance, journalistic style, objectivity. What is happening? Who did it? Think about the pyramid writing style where we have to get the facts. Why is it important? Why is this news? Toward the beginning of the story. And what happened? Make sure that they have all the information. Who, what, when, why, where, early in the story. Here's some examples. Unit recruits its way out of probation, story about how they moved in that process. Making strides in embracing diversity, helping me embrace who I am. Oh, this is about the student union that's formed. So at first I thought that seemed more like a feature, but that was a great quote to start this, about how that Black student union was formed. Updating the building, we write those a lot. Lack of numbers brings cancellation to Mr. Shamrock. That was hot news at our school. Staff members lend a helping hand. We can read through these, but it's more like it's happening right now. Band claims the trophy. 11 4-H campground destroyed by forest fire. That was an event that happened. Big news. Okay. And then I totally stole this from Ron. Did you put this on yours for the sports news article? I stole off someone's slide because they'll assume they're all the newspaper, but it's a live interview. And it is hard when you go in there and there's so many kids and they're all asking questions. One of my students did it when she's like, I just quit listening to everyone because they were asking the most random questions at the end. You just have to start writing. So here it says students do not have to ask questions during the interview. So if your student's in there and the questions are flying, they're not required to ask a question. So other people are asking the questions, they're not required. But can simply use information from the other students' questions. Students can take notes with their computer, paper, or pen, but cannot use their recording device. Once students have information, they can begin writing whenever they are ready. They do not need to listen to the entire interview. So I pulled this one off somebody else's that had it because I thought, oh, I forget that happens. So thank you. Did you write that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Some kids will just ask questions. You got to stop them. And then some of them ask nothing and they're just sitting there. Go ahead and write. Don't worry.
And so I tell them either whatever you think is fastest for you. Some like to use a pencil and jot down quotes as they go. Some people like to just type, whatever is fastest for them to get that information down. They did tell us ahead of time the past year or two which ones are going to be live ones. They didn't do that in the past. It's like, surprise, you're the live event. But I think it was news writing and maybe sports news writing this past year. And so that's feature writing and news writing. Are there any questions about that? I know what that's talking.
Is there, this is more of a state level question, ever a point where they're going to be able to use, I mean, my students record every interview on Otter, and then they can really be accurate with those quotes, like 100%. I mean, they have to sometimes re-listen because Otter transcripts are a little funky sometimes, but is there ever a point where that might be allowed just because then they can actually better listen to the interview than like furiously typing? I don't know.
At the national contest, they can't record them,
They can.
but
Because
they
I
have
feel
to be
like-
sure they have headphones and be sure they.
Because I feel like they can like truly have a conversation with that person and actually get more out of it.
Well, that's what they're doing in the field. Like,
They are.
Right?
If I thought that this was a skill that they had to have in the field now, and they need, my kids don't practice this in the school year at all because they record also. So I'd be in favor of recording.
I agree.